Okay, so there's some really interesting price action that's going on here. And I think this event that just happened last night and today, this is like a perfect example of futures TWAP, how futures can step up the market in order to run the stops and run liquidity. And then interesting enough, it's like this artificial demand that's injected into the market oftentimes will get slapped back down. As you can see, this entire move was pretty much retraced, taking out this low. But let me zoom out a little bit to give you guys and my future self some context of where we're at, because we've been consolidating in this range for about a month. Let's zoom into the to like a 30-minute time frame. Yeah, you can see we've been in this range for about a month now, and we're kind of consolidating with this bearish distribution pattern at the bottom of the range. Okay, and then of course on the smaller time frames we have essentially this wedge pattern that broke out last night right here, and you had a move to the top of the range, you know, taking out this high right here and even this high right here, but you never make it past this high. Okay, you get slapped down right here. And what's super interesting to me is if you look at the CVDs, the futures CVDs and the spot CVDs, you can see a perfect example of how futures can essentially step up the market, bid up the market, basically using what I believe is to be TWAP algorithms, time-weighted average price algorithms, to step up the market. And in the CVDs, notice how the futures market is making higher lows while the spot CVD is making lower lows. Okay, so they're diverging from each other, yet price is following the CVD of futures. So what that tells me is that spot is heavily selling here, right? But there's some absorption that's taking place that is happening in the futures market. Because if the CVD is going down, if your CVD is going down in price, is diverging from that, it indicates potentially that there could be limit buy orders underneath that is holding up the price. But also in the cryptocurrency market, because futures and the spot market have a relationship with each other, you can get these divergences where spot will be selling, but futures will actually be bidding up the price. And that's exactly what you see here. And if I step down to a smaller time frame, I wish I could have more historical data, you can really see how pronounced this divergence is, right? Where futures is making higher lows, and you can really see how aggressive spot is selling here. And in spite of that, you have this breakout of price, you know, where you break out of this wedge pattern, right? And you have a move to the upside. You can see both futures and spot begins to buy, and then once you get to the top here, you can see a little bit of a divergence. You can see a higher low is set right here, while price is making a higher high, which could have been indicative of exhaustion, right? That a turnover is coming, and then you have the move down, right? And the reason why I believe these moves are so aggressive to the downside is because essentially what's happening here is futures is creating artificial demand, right? Because there's actually no demand at the lows here. If there was real demand, then spot would be buying. And I use spot as almost like a proxy for organic demand. So because there's no actual organic demand at these lows, and futures is stepping up the market, most likely to run the stops and to run liquidity and to liquidate people. And you can see the amount of liquidations that happen here, you know, especially in this area and this area right here. Basically what I'm trying to say is that you can see that there's actually no real demand in this area right here, because spot is not buying, right? And because there is actually no demand in this area, it's very likely like that these lows are going to get run, because there's actually no demand, right? The last place we actually had real spot demand was maybe like right here when spot was trading flat. But even here, there was not very much demand. There was more of a divergence in futures here than there was in spot. So you can really see that futures is leading the market up. I think what happens is futures can step up the market, right? And can push the market to the extremes. And then when you have these breakouts right here, naive traders who are don't understand the dynamic between spot and futures, they actually believe that this is a real move up and that it is going to be a breakout of some sort, when in reality it is artificially driven by futures. And you can see that in the divergences of futures and spot. I wanted to just make a video highlighting this because I think this is a perfect example of like futures TWAP, futures leading the market up. This is exactly the sort of thing I'm trying to figure out how to understand, so I can get involved in these moves at the lows when I see it, okay, ride it all the way up to the top, and then I can put in a short at the top, you know, fully anticipating that the move is going to get retraced, because the demand here is artificially created, right? It's not real. It's artificially driven by futures. And another thing that's interesting here is if you check the open interest, you can see through this period, open interest is slowly increasing until we have this flush right here, and you can see the amount of leverage that was flushed out the system, all the longs that accumulated probably at the top here that just got flushed, and it slowly drifts down, probably longs covering, maybe even longs covering, maybe shorts, and of course you have another flush right here with this big move. But what's super interesting to me is how much open interest has increased right here. You can see it just like shot up above all-time highs, and that makes me wonder what's going on right here, right? Are these shorts or longs that are opening? And trying to look at the funding rate is going up, so it could be potentially longs, but I'm not sure. We're gonna see how it plays out. This is a little bit suspicious to me, but the fact that open interest increased so much tells me that there's going to be a volatile movement of some sort. But anyways, okay, that's gonna be it for this video. Super short, just wanted to document what I was seeing there. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.